Okay, it's, sorry Travis, it's day 122, subject 2. This is Travis Braun. All right, we're just, now we're going to roll through just like we did. Oh, I always need a headshot first. And I guess I got one with me. Very tight, just kind of a little below the collar up. All right, right straight in the camera, just your name.
Travis Braun.
Speak up good and loud. Second take, my name is Travis Braun.
My name is Travis Braun.
City and state.
Cedar City, Utah.
Type of corruption.
Criminal court corruption, law enforcement abuse, attorney ineffective assistant of counsel, governmental corruption, and local prejudice, defamation of character.
All right. Let's start with criminal court corruption, right into the camera.
Criminal court corruption.
Law enforcement abuse.
Law enforcement abuse.
Attorney misconduct.
Attorney misconduct.
All right, now what were some of the others? Violation of constitutional rights.
Governmental corruption and local prejudice.
Say government corruption.
Government corruption.
And then do the last one.
Defamation of character.
Now put all that together. My name is.
My name is Travis.
And then the category. Go.
My name is Travis Braun. I'm from Cedar City, Utah. The injustices I've encountered are criminal court corruption, law enforcement abuse, attorney misconduct, governmental corruption, and defamation of character.
Occupation, either now or your favorite occupation?
I'm a construction foreman.
Say construction foreman right in the camera.
Construction foreman.
You'll hold that up. Travis, I've asked you to sign a release, have you?
Yes, I have.
Thank you, sir. Looking for the others. A blank one? Right here. Okay. Good occupation. I think we're ready to roll. Ready to do your statement to Congress. Have you prepared
I
one,
have
or
not.
You're going to wing it?
I'm going to wing it.
You're going to wing it. You'll be great. Who you are, where you're from.
My name is Travis
Wait a
Braun.
minute. Broad overview, then some specifics. Watch for the signal. At the end, what needs to change? What would you like to see done differently? If you don't do that, I'll ask you for that. But don't be shook up when I give you the signals.
My name is Travis Braun. I am from Cedar City, Utah. I've encountered a lot of criminal court corruptions, law enforcement abuse, governmental corruptions, defamation of character, all because I'm willing to stand up to the local governments here, at least, and not just be a victim of their vigilante ways. I was tased by 6 officers during an epileptic seizure that was totally miscalled for, misrepresented, and misunderstood by the officers at the time. And because of that, I filed a 1983 handwritten lawsuit against them after speaking to them several times, trying to fix the situation or try to remedy it somehow. Since then, I've had 18 criminal charges filed against me. I've been harassed. I've been targeted as, I don't know exactly what they perceive me as, but I believe they've just targeted me because their livelihoods are threatened by the lawsuit for their actions that they were unaware of that they were making. The public offices here, they are selfish, power hungry, and oppressive to the people here. They have absolutely no regard for the Constitution, and if they do, they don't know the Constitution. They do what they want. A lot of this has come about because of their mistakes, and they just try, keep stumbling as they are falling, and they keep rolling downhill, making mistake after mistake, rather than just admitting their guilt and take responsibility for their actions. They expect each and every one of us as citizens to do the same, and that's what I expect in return.
Good job. All right, so let's cut that. Questions? 18.
I don't know.
So Travis, do you know your name at the police station?
Every cop in the city does. There's probably 80 for this small town too, so that's quite a bit.
How in the world did it get started?
I pulled out of the liquor store after buying dinner. The cop said I failed to blink or turn my blinker on. So that was his initial excuse to get behind me. After 5 blocks of following me, he ran my plates, alleged that I had no insurance, which was his probable cause for pulling me over. After I gave him my insurance and everything was correct and current, he asked me to do a field sobriety test for him. I did the field sobriety test. In my opinion, according to the video, I passed 5 of the 6. I blew what they call the BRAC or BRAC breathalyzer test. I blew a 0.014, which is like a tenth of a beer, and so he continued the field sobriety test. They couldn't find anything to harass me for any longer. At this point, I fell into an epileptic seizure because of the lights, telling them, "Hey, turn your lights off. I'm, disoriented or whatever." I fell into the seizure. He called the ambulance, stating that I had a seizure and they needed an ambulance there. They took me to the hospital and then arrested me for assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, failure to yield at while entering a roadway, DUI metabolite, and possession of marijuana. And I bailed out of jail, went and talked to the different levels of authority, kind of like the military. You go to the small guy first until you work your way up. I talked to the sergeant finally, and they all stated, "We're behind our officers and we're going to prosecute to the full extent of the law." I stated, "Well, if that's your position, then I'm going to go to the newspaper and I'm going to file a lawsuit against you." Once they kind of blew it off, once I did that, all of a sudden I've been pulled over for everything you can possibly think of, traffic citations, whatever. They raided my house, blew the front door off its hinges, the back glass sliding door open, claimed I was growing marijuana, manufacturing mushrooms, selling guns, and just a big drug dealer, basically. They came in with an affidavit for the warrant based on somebody's statement without any verification or follow-up investigations. They arrested me for manufacturing, cultivation, all this stuff, and they didn't find one iota of evidence that they put in the affidavit. After I bailed out, cost me $2,500. They dropped the charges on me, sent it to the feds. The feds arrested me, and the U.S. Marshals came, arrested me at my house with my 6 kids at the home for selling a weapon by a restricted person. I spent 6 months in jail waiting to go to trial. They threatened me with 10 years. I told them, "Let's do the trial, and I'll do all 10 years if you find me guilty." They dropped the charges a week before trial for lack of evidence. They released me. The state picked it back up and refiled the charges. I've been fighting these cases for 4 years now, and they still have yet to take me to court. Every time I go to court, they postpone it for some ridiculous excuse, and I've asked my attorney to file different motions for change of venue, different motions to drop the charges because they don't have any evidence. There was 3 different attorneys within the district attorney's office that dropped the charges for lack of evidence. Yet the youngest attorney picked it up for some reason. Maybe he did try to boost his career, I don't know. But like I said, since all this and the fight that I've put up, they don't cut me no slack. And not only that, I lived with my attorney for about 24 hours, and they raided her house and came and arrested me at 2:30 in the morning for 5 different domestic violence charges. I've sat in jail for 5 months till we took care of all that. I've taken care of every action that I've done, or I've taken responsibility for those actions. And if I have to, I don't see why anyone in the law enforcement or public, what's the word I'm looking for? Public, I don't know. Shoot, I can't even think of the name. Anyway, they need to take responsibility for their actions.
Any public official.
Anybody that does anything. I mean, that's, be a man about your stuff.
All right.
I don't.
Were you guilty of anything?
No.
So you think you turned your blinker on even?
Yeah, I know I did.
Okay.
I knew he was behind me.
You obviously weren't drunk because
No.
the breathalyzer test proves that. Which of the field sobriety tests did you fail? Because I'm sure I would fail several.
I failed to follow directions.
Oh, okay.
I took 11 steps on the walk. They tell you to walk the line. They tell you to take 9 steps and turn around. I took 11. So I didn't follow the directions.
Didn't realize how important that was.
And on the video, one cop kicks me in the face, tells me, "Don't touch me, you piece of shit." The other cop tells the other cop, "Hey, he's fighting." And the other cop says, "No, he's not fighting." He goes, "Well, I'm going to tase him anyway." And he tases me. And then later on, he tells the other cop, "If he acts up again, give him another dose." They tased me twice, left the needles in my back till I bailed out of jail. And I didn't even realize they were in my back until I sat in the seat of my wife's car and it poked me in my spine. They dislocated my L4 vertebrae. They cover their camera or their little microphones, and they're telling each other, "Hey, turn your camera off, don't record this." And this is all on the video, and yet I faked the seizure according to their statements in court. I faked this.
Can I get a copy of the video?
Absolutely, it's on YouTube.
Email me and send me the link,
Okay.
and we'll incorporate that. No growing of marijuana, no meth labs, no.
None. I had a business that my brother and I were trying to start, and this is called Edible Decorative Landscapes. You teach people how to grow food and decorate your yard with food rather than with just shrubbery that you waste water on. And I was just in the process of doing my research and trying to grow what plants grow good in this area, how early to start them, all that. And I had all my equipment just stored in a storage unit because it was winter. And they took that as growing equipment, I guess. And I have pictures of all their evidence, everything that they charged me with or whatever. I have all the information as far as that goes to rebut anything they can claim. So no, they didn't find anything. And they did this without any, like when they raided the house, it was the same 6 cops that raided my house, which was the same 6 cops that tased me.
What about the gun charge? You sell a gun to anybody?
No, I'm still fighting that charge right now. And that charge itself is 2 years old. And the other charge that caused all this was 4 years old.
Is there a witness saying you sold a gun to them?
Nope. There is one person who's doing 10 years in federal prison right now that's alleging that I sold her the gun. Oh. She was running dope from Salt Lake to Wyoming and got caught up, and all of a sudden I sold her this gun. I don't know where it came from. I don't know nothing about it, never seen it. There ain't no fingerprints on the gun. There ain't I have no idea. I didn't even know this lady. I met her one time. And all of a sudden, her information was enough information to validate a warrant, apparently, and didn't find anything in the home that was on the warrant.
Why would she make up something like that? Speculation.
Speculation.
How would you speculate on it?
I had friends that did know her, and whether or not she wanted to bring heat their way, she brought it my way. But the people she knew lived with me at the time. And the only thing I can think of is I got caught in the crosshair.
You ever thought that maybe one of those guys with a taser might have wanted to get you for something else? And
Yeah, they'll do whatever. I'm surprised I ain't dead yet.
all right, what about the charges of domestic abuse? Are you and your wife still together?
We are currently divorced because of this. We maintain a very close relationship. I talk to her every day. She'll testify to anything. She'll answer any questions. But ultimately, me having this issue has jeopardized the functionability of a family. And in order to save that, it's best I'm not there. But yeah, I punched a hole in the wall on the way out of the house during an argument and was charged 5 times for one charge for each child in the home, even though they were sleeping, didn't hear nothing or whatever. It was domestic violence in the presence of a child. And I just believe that the local prejudice is like, hey, we're gonna lose this lawsuit. You better demonize this guy publicly so we can judicially justify our actions. If you don't, we're screwed. And that's where I believe I'm at now.
So anybody out there who's watching who's slammed their hand into a wall or whatever, if they were in Cedar City, Utah, they'd be guilty of domestic violence.
If you break your phone in the heat of an argument, that's domestic violence.
So, not quite right.
That's the way Utah's laws stated.
How many different charges in total do you have you had against you?
I've had 18 since 2008, and prior to that, I had 4, and I'm 36 years old. Apparently, all of a sudden, I became a criminal.
Were the 4 prior to the liquor store?
When I was 17.
Did you do those?
Yes, I did. I did my time. I got off paper, and I've been clean ever since, up until the 2008 issue where they basically destroyed everything I worked for 15 years.
How do your children feel about you?
I'm the greatest man in their life. I'm their dad. They love me. I don't know. My kids are awesome. I love my kids.
You're lucky that you still have that.
Yeah, I am. And I'm grateful as well.
What I'd like to do is get a soundbite from you saying, put it in your words, I've had 18 criminal charges filed against me by the police and prosecutors in Cedar City, Utah, and the only thing I'm guilty of is filing an action against them for their wrongdoing.
I have had 18 criminal charges filed against me from Iron County, Cedar City Police Department, prosecuting attorneys in Cedar since 2008. And the only thing I'm guilty of is standing up for my rights and filing an action against their wrongdoing.
I have 1 or 2 more questions, and I didn't do this before, but I usually ask if there's anybody in the room that has a question. You guys obviously know him, and I don't. Anybody have anything? No? Okay. All right, I'll let you ask you to define Lawless America. How would you define it? Not me, not the movie, not the website.
Lawless America. There's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but basically where the law has no bounds, no boundaries. They do what they want. They are basically under the guise of Caesar. So render what is Caesar's unto him what is his. And that's where I think America is at. We're at the brink of the fall of the Roman Empire in 2012.
You know, Thomas Jefferson said that there needs to be a revolution every generation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've missed a couple of generations. It's time
Yes,
for a
it is.
peaceful revolution.
I don't know if there can be a peaceful revolution, is there?
Well,
I
I've got
mean,
a proposal.
we hope for, you know.
I've got a proposal I'm going to record that would involve us, all of us who want America back, forming a different political party with very basic issues: honesty, Constitution, Bill of Rights, God-given rights as far as families are concerned. Things that almost anybody, honest person, should be able to embrace. We just have to convince enough people that that's more important than whatever issues they think the Republicans or Democrats might deal with for them, since they won't do anything for any of us.
And this is true.
All right, any last thoughts? You don't seem like a bad guy. You're like one of the favorite people in the room, it seems to me.
Again, that's because I'm me.
That's because you're you.
It just comes with the territory. No, I don't know if I really have any. I mean, I just want them to take responsibility for their actions, just like they require from any citizen that does something, you know. People make mistakes and they trip up, but if you can be a man about it and say, yeah, I did mess up and I'm willing to accept that responsibility and do what I have to do to make it right, that's what we want. And it should come from each individual or government entity or state rep, anything. They should be held to a way higher standard than we are. And if they are found guilty, that's my opinion, they should be prosecuted twice as hard, because they are the law that's supposed to be upholding the law they arrest people for. So hopefully things will change, and if not, unfortunately, maybe guns will have to change things.
Well, there's people that think that it's, could come to that, but
I hope it doesn't.
we certainly aren't advocating it,
Right, absolutely not.
since
Hopefully,
we're on camera.
hopefully it doesn't happen. I ain't, but you know, unless people pick up arms or change it in some other fashion to where it will change, I don't think anything other than a gun is going to change it.
Let me ask you one last question. The challenge with the movie and what we're doing is to try to reach the 99% of the people that don't have a clue
Right.
that they don't live in this great country with all their rights, and they're protected, and that there's justice, and the police are honest, and the judges are honest. What would you say? How do we get through to people?
Unfortunately, unless it affects them directly, they got horse blinders on. They're not really, they don't care because it isn't affecting their life. So if I tried to reach people like that, I mean, I really don't know. There's a million different ways to try and contact and let people be aware, but people just don't care because it's not affecting their life. When it affects your life and it becomes you, then maybe you might have a little bit of backbone to stand up for yourself. A lot of people don't. I wish there was something I could say to wake people up.
That could happen to them.
Yeah, get pulled over, see what happens. I don't know. Thank you, by the way.
Oh, my pleasure.
That was
Thank
the
you.
last thing.